If you're a language teacher and you're looking to use NotebookLM to help you with your teaching and learning, then you've come to the right place. This video is packed with ideas and I'm going to focus on 3 key areas. 1, using Google LM to prepare your lessons. 2, to generate content for your lessons. And thirdly, also to show to your students because they could use it to study on their own or do their homework. I'm going to make this a super practical session. I really have spent a lot of time testing all sorts of ideas, and I'm going to reveal some of the ideas that I've already shown to my Patreon group. Really hope you like the video, and as always, if you do, please like it, please share it, and please comment on it, and of course, most importantly, join me on my YouTube channel. Let's get started. In 60 seconds, I'm going to try my best to explain how NotebookLM works, and then I'm going to show you, or start to show you, just the many things that we can do with it in language learning. So if I click on Create New, there's basically 2 key things that you need to understand. First of all, you need to provide the sources of information. So normally, for example, you've got a topic, let's say you're interested in dieting, and you might have some PDF files and some YouTube videos and some websites and some blogs and some other text, maybe some audio files, all connected to that topic. What you can do is add them all up into NotebookLM. And then, and if we click on add sources here, you can see the sorts of sources that we can add up. So we can add up tons of content, and notice you can add up to 50 separate different files. This is incredible. Then from those files, NotebookLM will generate lots of different content. For example, it will produce a podcast, which is going to be a summary of all the key points made in the sources that you've added up. But it could also be, for example, a study guide or briefing notes or frequently asked questions or a timeline. So all of this content can be instantly generated from whatever sources you can provide. So there's an obvious benefit if you're trying to prepare to do a talk, or you're a student and you're doing research. This could really help you a lot. Now, language teachers are kind of missing the point a little bit. First of all, you're not expected to always load up 50 different articles or even 10 articles. You could be generating content around one source. You may have a YouTube video and you want to produce comprehension questions and maybe gap fills and maybe summaries and maybe a summary podcast, etc. Or perhaps you've got an article or an audio file that you want to share. So when we're working in language teaching, one of the things that we can do is just specify one source that we want to generate content from. However, there's something else really special. The system generates these standard tools of making a really interesting podcast, and I'm going to show you something about the podcast that's very special in a minute. But we got a podcast, we got study guide, briefing notes, FAQs, timeline. However, what people don't realize is this system here is basically like ChatGPT. It's actually Google Gemini, and you can almost ask it to do anything for you. So for example, you could get it to do a summary of a YouTube video, or comprehension questions for a YouTube video, or extract the vocabulary from a YouTube video, or generate the transcript from a YouTube video, or produce a matching activity from the YouTube video or from the text or from the audio. You could get it to do anything, and this is where a lot of people are missing out, because really the power is in this tool, and this is what I want to focus on. So let's go through an example. I'm going to copy this link to a video about 10 national parks, the top 10 national parks in America. I'm going to come over to Notebook and I'm going to add just the one source. So I'm going to click here on YouTube and I'm going to paste in that link to that video. So I'm just going to insert one source, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate loads of content around that one source. Now, one thing I've already pointed out is that we can actually produce a audio podcast based on this video. And this could obviously be very useful alongside the video, for example, to extend it into homework or for a listening activity in class with the students, etc. But not only can we generate this, but actually you can also interact with the podcast and ask it questions. So this also has a really interesting angle for language students themselves to be working on this technology on their own. You'll see exactly what I mean when I show you this. But one thing I want to say to you, when you generate a podcast, you can just click on this button and it's going to generate a podcast straight away. But you can click on customize and specify what you want the podcast to do. So what I've done is I've said, can you generate a podcast that simplifies the language so that the podcast could be understood, understood by an intermediate level student, B1 student. Okay, so I'm trying to control a little bit the podcast, because if I just click on this generate button, then it's going to be obviously quite high level. So we're going to click here, and keep in mind it does take a few minutes to generate the podcast. Now what I'm going to do in a minute is show you how you can then actually talk to the podcast as well and actually join the presentation or to join the podcast yourself. And this is really interesting. Okay, so it took about 3 minutes for that podcast to be generated. I want to point out, I'm going to play the podcast in a minute. You can actually download that podcast, and you can even control the speed, which again, from a language point of view, could be very interesting. But let's just click just for a few seconds, and then I'm going to show you how you could even interact and be part of the show.
All right, so lace up those hiking boots, everybody, because today we're going deep on the best national parks in the U.S.
Oh yeah, some of the best.
We're going to be using travel expert Kevin East's YouTube video as our guide, Top 10 National Parks in the USA.
I love that video.
And just so you know, we're going to be sticking to the lower 48 states for this deep dive.
Makes sense. That's a good starting point. So much to cover.
Yeah, so first up is Zion.
Now, my feeling is that it probably is quite difficult, not in the vocabulary but the speed of the delivery, so I would definitely be thinking about slowing this down. But don't worry, I'm going to be showing you various tricks that you can do. But the first thing I want to show you is that if you were a language student and you did this on your own, remember this tool is free, you do have the option here to click on the beta, and this, keep in mind this is in beta. And you do need to start the podcast again. So let's just click on this button here. And what I can do once I click on this play is I can
just
join.
So you know, we're going to be sticking to the lower 48 states for this deep dive.
Makes sense. That's a good...
Oh, our listeners got something to share. Let's hear it.
Yeah, what would you consider to be the most famous and perhaps the most popular national park in the USA?
That's a great question. You know, it's tough to say definitively, but I'd probably go with Yosemite as the most famous, maybe the most popular too.
Yeah, I can see that Yosemite definitely has a huge name, especially with all those iconic granite cliffs.
So you could see there the potential. Now I want to emphasize this is in beta. It's not completely reliable. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you have to refresh the button. But I can see some real power in that. Now what I want to do now is focus on really where the power is in all these tools, and that is here. Okay, now I really like that podcast tool, but there probably are better tools for this. And if you want to learn more about tools that can generate podcasts and generate audio from any text and in multiple languages, then watch the video that I'm putting on the screen now that's actually very popular. What I'm going to do now is show you the kind of chat GPT functionality that we have in NotebookLM that allows us to produce loads and loads of other content more relevant to language teaching. People often ask me how I make my videos and what technology I use, and if you are interested, I do actually have another channel called Screencast Guru where I teach you all about making videos and building up your YouTube channel, and I'll put the link to that on the screen just in case you're interested. So for example, I've written the question here, can you highlight 10 words from the video that would help my students at B1 level of English to understand the podcast? In fact, I've written to understand the podcast twice there. I don't need that, sorry. Let's just put that back and then put the question mark in and then press on this button here. And what it's going to do is going to generate those 10 words directly from the podcast. And it does it very, very quickly. And there they are. Now, I'm going to use these words to create some exercises, but I want to click on this button as well. I can save those into my notes, okay, and we can use that a little bit later on. So now I'm going to ask it to actually produce some kind of exercise around this vocabulary. Now I'm just doing pretty standard stuff at the moment, but I've asked it now, can you generate a close type activity, a gap fill type activity where students have to use the 10 words to complete the close? Can you base the text around the same topic? So we're keeping to the topic of national parks, And the students have to try to read this text now and work out what the gaps are and what word would go in the gaps. They've got the words here at the top that they can use, and handily we've actually got the answers as well. Okay, so again, what we could do easily now is just copy that text and paste it into a Word file, for example. And in fact, if I remember rightly, it facilitates that. So you can click here, okay, and copy the text, or you could do both and copy the text but also save to your notes, so in case you want to refer back to that later. Okay, you could now paste that text into a Word file. You might need to format it a little bit. Okay, so hopefully you're getting the idea, and you could use this to produce comprehension questions, or perhaps true or false questions, or perhaps sentence completion sentence activities, etc. And you can see that it can really do that very quickly, connected to the content that you've uploaded. In previous videos, someone once left me a comment saying, yeah, but Russell, this is kind of all standard stuff, and I will agree with that, and we really want to try to get these technologies to produce something a little bit more interesting. So that's where I want to focus now. I want to focus on perhaps pushing a little bit more and thinking about how we could get the system to generate more interesting content to go along with that YouTube video. And remember, it doesn't have to be a YouTube video. That could have been an MP3 audio file, it could have been some text, it could have been a website, it could have been a document that I've uploaded. So I used a YouTube video, but it could have been any sort of content, and then we could generate lots of things from it. So here are two ideas. First of all, can you choose two parks that are quite distinctive and write descriptions of the parks? I want my students to read the descriptions and then to decide which park the descriptions are referring to. So this way they need to understand the YouTube video, understand the different parks that were described, and then afterwards, by reading these descriptions, they would have to work out, well, what park is that description referring to? And I think this worked really, really well as an activity. I've not tested this, but I have done similar things in the past using other tools. And it doesn't even matter if, for example, we give the location, because of course the students would still have to remember, right, it was in Utah, etc., etc. So that would definitely work as an activity. And what I like about that is a kind of spin-off. This could easily be an activity that you would ask your students to do for homework. Remember, again, we'd have to copy that, put it into a Word file, maybe format it a little bit, okay? And of course you could ask for the descriptions to be longer or shorter depending on your students. And then the other thing I done was a really obvious thing, but something I must admit I do like doing, and again it would work really well with this particular video. I simply asked the system to generate 10 sentences for me about the parks, 5 that are factually correct and 5 that are incorrect. So the students can work together after listening to or watching the YouTube video, and then discuss in pairs whether they think the information that is provided is correct or not. And then what I've got, very useful, is at the end a key, so that the students could either correct themselves and go through the answers, or we could do that as a group. So what I'm trying to do here is just push a little bit further with these technologies, and to allow for a bit more creative rather than just gap fills and comprehension questions, etc. Okay, hopefully that's given you a bit of a taster. Keep in mind that you also have these tools here, briefing notes and a timeline and frequently asked questions and a study guide. They're all really useful. I particularly like the study guide. Just click on those and they'll generate content from the resources that you've provided. Also, you can click on the notes. So you can click on the notes, and of course you can come back from the notes, just click here. The notes can be really useful for you as well. Now, if you want to learn more about Google LM, then I suggest that you join me on my Patreon. That's if you join, you'll get extra videos, and also we meet online once a month for training. Thank you very much, and hope that the video is really useful. Okay, really hope you liked the video, and if you do, please come over to teachertrainingvideos.com. There's hundreds more videos on the website. There's a really popular section on teaching and using AI. I specialize in making videos to help language teachers use technology. If you want to sign up to the newsletter, then that way you can keep up with all the latest videos, the free webinars that we run, the courses that we run, etc. And at the moment, if you sign up to the newsletter, there is a special 14-part free course that you'll be sent. You'll be sent a video about every 3 or 4 days that really just focuses on the most popular technologies on my YouTube channel that teachers have reacted to. And that really builds up into a really nice course and gives you a strong basis in using technology in language teaching. It's completely free, and literally everything that I show you is a free technology. If you'd like to have live training with me, then think about joining me on Patreon. On Patreon, for $6 a month, you get 3 free videos from me each month without any advertisements in them. But the important thing is those videos are connected to a monthly webinar that we have where we meet live. And we normally work with the technology that we focused on that month, or sometimes it's 2 technologies, and we do activities and really learn to use those technologies well, so that then you can try those out in class or online with your students. The other interesting thing about joining me on Patreon is that actually you get access to all of the backdated material. So there's over a year of videos and live training. This training is very practical with lots and lots of ideas about things that you can do in the class or online with your students teaching languages. So it's much more practical than the YouTube videos, and you get that as part of the $6 a month. Okay, I'm going to leave some more videos on the screen that I think you might find useful.